I think we should be live by the look of it. Have we got a bit of a sound check there, guys? Give us a thumbs up if we're live. I'm just trying to remember how to do things on this platform, which includes, I see and hear you, good, which includes sharing the screen. I can't remember how to do it. Settings, present, share screen. Oh, I see, right. Okay, we're back. I'm giving you an update and also testing out my mobile internet. So my house sold and I'm on the road. It happened quicker than I wanted. Well, I didn't want to sell the house to start with. That was a forced thing, but the sale happened a bit quicker than I expected in the end, and hence I'm in a caravan and on the road for a bit with no fixed address. At this stage, I'm where I'm at until the 26th of December. And then I've got no location until the 6th of January when I can come back to here again. So in the interim, I had to grab a Starlink mobile internet setup because our telecommunication provider in the area that I'm in is basically non-existent, so there's no internet. I'm pretty happy so far with the Starlink setup and the mobile app, etc. Seems to work really well, and I'd recommend it for anybody that's going off grid. It works quicker than the broadband that I used to have. So I put a referral link up on the community tab, actually. So anybody who decides to buy a Starlink platform, I think you get a month free. And I think that flows through to me. I get a month's worth of data free or something. But I'm pretty happy with the system. I've got it set up outside the caravan door at the moment. And I just turn on a little mobile app and it tells me how to orientate the disc. It gives you a little visual. Seems to work well. So I'm expecting Elon Musk to come and pay me a visit for that referral. So where are we at? Let's start by, I'll give you my thoughts in a minute, but we'll start by playing one of Brother Ron's songs, as I usually do. The Storms Are Coming. He's there in the chat. And then we'll have a chat and see if we can nut something out. Share. Okay, let's see. Share screen. Here we go. Share the audio. This is one of Brother Ron's more recent songs that he's put together.
I ain't got no stress, cause I'll be blessed. I've been running a race, this whole life's a test. When I'm weak, when I get down, he gives me strength, he gives a crown.
We're all here, but the end is near. Faith is strength, but we all remain. This path is hard, the edge is steep, but don't slip off, cause hell is deep.
I fell off the road, tripped into the mud. Devil pushed me down till I got stuck. That bastard laughed while I cried as I sunk down. He thought I died, but then the air cleared and it parted the fog. Something pulled me out of that nasty old bog. Thank God he was there. He wiped the shit from my eyes. He cleaned me up and showed me the light.
We're all here, but the end is near. Faith is strength, but we all remain. This path is is hard, the edge is steep, but don't slip off, cause hell is deep.
Some people say that life is what you make it, but to them I say true life is yours, just take it. He gives it out freely, all he wants is your hand. Take hold of it now and trust in his plan.
We're all here, but the end is near. Faith is strained, but we all remain. This path is hard, the edge is steep, but don't slip off, cause hell is deep.
Some people say that life is what you make it, but to them I say true life is yours, just take it. He gives it out freely, all he wants is your hand. Take hold of it now and trust in his plan.
We're all here, but the end is near. Faith is strained, but we all remain. This path is hard, the edge is steep, but don't slip off, cause hell is deep. We're all here, but the end is near. Faith is strained, but we all remain. This path is hard, the edge is steep, but don't slip off, cause hell is deep.
Cause hell is deep.
Great song. Thanks, mate. Go back to just me here. So, where are we at? We're here in December, and I didn't think that we could get. I think we just had a bit of a glitch then. So we're here in December. I did not think that we could get this far at all. My outside date, if you remember, based on a straight 80-year count from 1948, May 14 plus the 80, brought us to a mid-trib point of 2028, May 14 minus 1,260 days brought us back to, this was the simplest math that we did, brought us back to December 5th from memory. So what does all this mean? We're still here and we're still chasing this elusive rapture date. Well, I had a couple of, this is just thinking out loud as much as anything else. But we know there are verses, and this particular verse about a tarry is a very unusual verse because it says, though it tarries, wait for it, it won't tarry, it will surely come. And as Brother David has said before, you're killing me, what's with this? What does that mean? So I started to think about tarry. Now, let's not necessarily look at biblical definitions, but what do you think of personally when you hear the word tarry? I hear of I think personally of somebody that is late, behind schedule, hasn't arrived when they said they should. Things like that. So if we're to apply that concept of tarry, we must therefore have got to be in a tarry period, have it basically exhausted our timelines. So whilst in the past we have mentioned the word tarry, I don't really think that is applied completely until now, because the math, the most basic of math, and not looking at Enochian timelines and Gregorian timelines and 365 and a quarter day years and 364 and a quarter day and 364 day years and all this sort of stuff. I'm just trying to keep it very, very simple, because so far none of our complex looks at this rapture timeline have yielded us fruit. So let's keep it simple. That day of December 5th to me was our last possible date for the rapture to occur and the tribulation to begin, based on math, based on 1260 days, based on the midpoint of the tribulation, applying for that 80 years from Psalm 90 verse 10, and where they fly away, and they're protected, the Jewish people are protected for 1260 days. So that clearly showed us that was referring to the midpoint of the tribulation. So using the 80 years, we got, as I said, 2028, May 14. There is also the possibility that we have to use 81 years minus a minute or minus a second, which would make it next year, December 5th. There is also another possibility that we should use 1950 and the law of return, and I think it was July 5th. Then we'd have to add 80 or 81 to that to get the mid-tribulation point. None of that math, none of that, however, aligns with the signs that we're seeing now. The wars and reports of wars. Now, we can't deny the increase in these things. Since I haven't been online and been able to view anything, I've basically been blind to the world for nearly a month. And I come back on, and what I notice is all the same things are still in play, with continuing increases in action, basically, but we're still not home. Therefore, I believe that because a tarry doesn't occur until after you're supposed to have arrived, and I believe that date was December 5th, I think now we are definitively, as of December 5th, have been in a tarry window, but only as of December 5th. How long that goes for, I have no idea. Brother Dana did a good video recently. I'll be home for Christmas. He's looking at December 25th. Mike is also looking at December 25th for his own reasons. Mike's latest video was very touching. At the end, well done, Mike, as usual. Remember, all we're trying to do is warn. Like, we do get a lot of nasty comments, people just wanting their ears tickled. My subscribers have gone down since I haven't been able to be online, and I've been going through probably one of the worst things that I've ever gone through in my entire life, yet my reward is loss of subscribers for what? Not posting videos? What I'm saying is this can be a thankless task and a thankless job, and we're only trying to warn. We've got it wrong so far based on every possible method that we've used. We've looked at things like journeys from the book of Acts. We've looked at the book of Esther. Jarrett over at Supernatural by Design has looked deeply at the book of Esther. We've had Rock Island Books looking at all sorts of different maths and reasonings. We've had George at Return of the King, Dunamis 333. Watch Brother Matthew, A Billboard for Christ. Everybody has had a look. And what I've noticed since I've come back is a lot of the Watchman community has gone quiet. And the reason, well, is quite the right word. Let's say a lot of the Watchman community seems discouraged. And the reason is, I truly believe we have got to a point where our timeline ended mathematically, in all the different ways that we looked at it, and spiritually as well. We felt we should be home. And a lot of us, when we pass, say, October 31st, and then into November and December, it was like a spiritual almost kick in the stomach. A lot of us felt lost. And I think that is when our tarry began. Our tarry began when we all collectively saw that we were basically at the end of our timeline. And I think perhaps we're grasping at straws at the moment, trying to timeline this any further, other than to say we are in a tarry. And I think the signs in Israel and the things that are happening are going to dictate this. Now, there are some other things that I thought of too. The enemy is trying to kill, steal, destroy. He's trying to destroy or steal the faith of those that haven't made a decision yet, those that are on the fence. He's trying to ruin the walk of people who are already saved. Satan is very cunning. And if we can see these signs, there is also the chance that they are orchestrated. Now, I need to explain this. God's outside of time, so the Bible is going to happen as it's written. No changes that we think we can make within time impact how the Bible is going to turn out. God saw the end from the beginning, and the Bible was written with all the changes and things that we try and schemes that Satan tries to do throughout history. It is still accurate. So people, I've heard the argument before that people read the book of Revelation and they say, well, we know the end, so therefore we can change it. No, you can't, because that end that is written already took into account, because God's outside of time, any little thing that man tried to meddle with, or Satan through man through however, you know what I mean, tried to meddle with. So we know the Bible is 100% true and is going to occur as it's written. But we have the Bible in front of us, and Satan has access to that too. And we know that all the governments of the world, these elites are colluding together to bring about this. There has to be this has to be a united effort by Satan, and indeed it is in the end days, but because we know we're going to end up with a one world religion, a one world government, and a one world digital currency, and all those sorts of things. So it's clearly it's a good cop, bad cop situation. Everybody's a cop still. So what I'm thinking, one of the tactics that Satan has used to try and firstly prevent those that were on the fence making a decision for Jesus, and to just make the general life and walk of those already saved a nightmare. If you're watching, this walk has been a nightmare. It really has, of up and down emotions and missed dates and things. It certainly hasn't been the broad, easy, walk, travelled path. It's been the narrow, rocky path that the Bible describes. So has some of what's happened behind the scenes, because what I've noticed is the war to me should have escalated by now, but it seems to take 2 steps forward and 1 back, or 2 forward and 2 back, or 1 forward and 2 back, or 3 forward and 1 back. It's just doing this. Is that part of Satan's deception in these end days to get us to the point where we start to lose faith or don't make a decision? I don't believe you can lose your salvation, but you can become worldly. You can fall out of, watching for Jesus' return and fall back into the world very easily. And Satan wants all these bad things to happen to us. And boy, oh boy, have I been through it. So I'm wondering, we're nearly there. We can see that. We know things are going to happen, as the Bible says, the destruction of Damascus and all these sorts of things. But has some of the lead up that we've seen been orchestrated in a way to throw us off, even though it is still going to happen anyway? You know what I mean? Like if I knew what horse was going to win a race before the race finished, perhaps I'd try and throw everybody off that horse by causing other events to occur. Even though I can't prevent that horse from winning, I can create some sort of deception to prevent everybody from knowing the time or the hour, hence the tarry. So is the tarry that we're being told about a period of time that we were going to experience, which was going to be very testing and trying for all of us, and indeed has turned out to be that way? Is the tarry that period of time where we all pretty much threw our hands up in the air and said, what's happened? Why are we still here? And was that orchestrated by the enemy? And did, of course, not did, but God knew that all along. So he said, though you think there is a tarry happening, there isn't really. It still is going to happen exactly as the Bible says. And what you're experiencing is from the devil trying to give a false start, sort of thing. So the only thing that I can come up with now is that we are indeed in a tarry. So what that means as to a date, I don't know. Can we equate it to something like Brother Dana in his recent video, I'll be going home for Christmas? Can we look at it as Mike is in his last video? I think he was looking at a date 16 December. That's already passed, but I think his main one was Christmas Day, the conception. Brother Dana's video lines up also with what Mike was thinking, but I've seen in the past many of our videos line up accidentally or otherwise, and still nothing happened. So my belief firmly still is that we need to go in 2024 before 2025. If I'm wrong, then unfortunately we need to consider things that we haven't done before, things that we haven't wanted to before, like Aaron at Got a Minute's Feast of Wine for 2025, like using 81 instead of 80 years, which brings us to December 2025. Like potentially using 1950 and 80 and 1950 and 81 and all these other modifications. We'd have to go down that path past 2024 into 2025. But if we do go into 2025, then that's what we have to do, because we are looking for a pre-tribulation rapture. The scriptures make that very clear. The scriptures make a rapture very, very clear. Typology and direct verse. The scriptures make it very, very clear that Israel is got 80 years max. That's it. History shows us that they've never passed that amount. We have all the signs in play that we know are either setting up the end time events, the big wars that are to come, or we are seeing those signs occur right now. We have had the Revelation 12 sign, but we're also told to occupy the day. We're told there's going to be a tarry. I am praying that we don't see 2025 and need to consider some of those other options that I just mentioned. But it is still a possibility, and we will have to do that, because, if we get there, then something we've done so far is wrong. So we've got to think outside of the box and look at the options that we said weren't options previously. I mean, if you exclude everything, what's left, regardless of how stupid it might sound, has to be the truth. If all other options and avenues have been explored. I nearly kicked the table over. So I'm continuing to watch. This drone thing is interesting. It appears, from what I can see, that they were drones designed to look for some sort of nuclear weapon. Is that just a false flag and media and some sort of cover-up? Could be. Is it real? Could be. Something I will note is that before World War I and World War II, in the media, there were lots and lots and lots and lots of UFO sightings. So it has either been a false flag deception tactic that they have used at least twice before, and we know there is nothing new under the sun, or there is something behind it logistically and militarily. If not, it could indeed be one of those sort of signs in the heavens, because there's going to be wars and reports of wars, signs in the heavens. There's going to be, changes in the weather, earthquakes in diverse places. And we know all of these things were meant to occur sort of after the rebirth of Israel. That started the countdown for us from 1948, May 14, or it might have been July or Jan 5th. I can't remember which one, July or Jan, 1950 for the Law of Return. But we're clearly told that they had 80 years, 70 or 80 years. We've extrapolated that to 81 so that the 80th year was complete. In some math, but current math that we've been working on, we haven't really done that, because the signs sort of indicated to me that we would be going home very soon. So our math from 1948 plus 80 brought us to 2028, and we took off the 1260 days for half the tribulation, which we see in scripture is broken into two halves, two 1260 day periods. We've looked in the past at the 1290 day period and the 13 whatever it was. I'm pretty tired because it's 2 in the morning right now, but and where their application could be. My end date was December 5th. Could the application of one of those different time counts there, that, there was a difference of 30 days and 45 days, I think 75 days all up. Could we be in a 75 day or a 30 day or a 45 day tarry from December 5th? I don't know. I mean, December 5th, a 30-day tarry, is pretty much put us in Jan 5th, wouldn't it? I know people are talking about Jan 20, but I think that's all to do with Trump. And, while I understand that political leaders, etc., play a part in end-time biblical prophecy, I don't think we need to be basing anything on Donald's return on Jan 20. But we could be in a 30-day tarry based on one of those day counts, or a 45-day tarry. what was it, 1335 and 1290 or something. So yeah, 30 and yeah, however it worked out, 45, 75 days all up. But right now, my only encouragement is to say that we're called to be watchmen. We're going to see a lot of smoke and no fires, but if we don't call the smoke every time, it's going to come a time when there is a fire with that smoke. So we just got to keep battling on. It's not easy, and it's certainly emotionally difficult. I'm based at a caravan park at the moment. I've actually had some witness opportunities. It's been quite amazing. But I've also had a few uncomfortable situations. Like today, I met a couple just wandering around a caravan park, and I knew they'd just retired because somebody else told me they were moving down here permanently. But we got into a conversation about medical intervention that happened some time ago, and I mentioned my point of view on that, and I could see the hatred in that person's eyes towards me immediately. I could see the judgment, the change of body language. It was palpable. So we know definitively we are in the end days. The signs are there. We're seeing it all. There's a huge division happening, and it all happened around that sort of time of medical intervention. People changed. Some woke up, some went to sleep. A lot of lines were drawn in the sand, if you know what I mean, and teams were chosen, which is very reminiscent of the verse in the Bible where, you know, mother will turn against daughter and father against son, or son against father, or however it goes. I totally paraphrased there, but it's very reminiscent of that situation. And what I've noticed since then is that most of the watchmen and women and commenters on the channel, etc., have been under massive spiritual attack. It's almost like Satan has left those alone that are on one side of the line and has come after us that are on the other side of the line. And it's not just Satan, it's people as well. There seems to be a real division amongst families, and it's a very, very strange time we're in. Definitely the end days. We're definitely there. We're in a tarry. We're going home very soon. I still believe it's this year. If I'm wrong, then we're going to have to look at some of those other dates and what they potentially mean. For now, from December 5th, I'm looking at us being in either a 30 or 45-day tarry. But us being able to be raptured at any point in time from now on, as we could have done in the past. But so I'm not definitively looking at Jan 5th or 45 or 15 days from then, being 45 in total, which will be what, Jan 2021, something like that, which is interesting. Jan 20, I just mentioned that to do with Donald. I'm thinking out loud. So 45-day tarry from December 5th would bring us to around about that date. I know a lot of us are hurt. A lot of us are just feeling the pinch. A lot of us were ready to go the day of the flood, October 31st, November 1st, and then into December. We're still ready. We're wanting to go even more. But I think we're in a tarry that's going to end very soon. I just want to encourage everybody to stay strong, keep doing what you've been doing. I mean, you have to occupy the day, but I still wouldn't suggest anybody think too far ahead. Like, you know, I'm in a situation now where I'm in a caravan and on the road with options, but not being prepared I haven't got massive options, but I'm not prepared to make any options that might sort of remove my ability to stay mobile at the moment. Whilst it's difficult because I'm facing 10 days I've got to leave here on December 26th, and there's going to be 10 days where I've got no sites that I can stay at, no power, no nothing. So I've got a generator, and I've set myself up pretty good for off-grid, but even just simple things like food and water are going to be difficult. I've got my dog with me, so I can't just leave my caravan and travel miles to a shop, and with a dog in the caravan, I come back, there's no caravan, or you don't know what's going to happen. So, and this is a big learning curve for me. I've lived on acres of land, and now I'm in 90 feet of caravan. But what I'm saying is, through all the trials and tests and tribulation that I've faced recently, is this part of where God says to us, because nobody really knows the exact interpretation or meaning of that verse, but God says, come out of her, my children, come out of her. Come out of what? The world? Some people have speculated that it means Roman Catholicism or other religions or what, but is Jesus trying to tell us that we're in a tarry now? We know we are. We've seen all the signs. Though it tarries, wait for it. It won't tarry, because the difference of us being in time and God being outside of time, and his concept of tarry versus ours. What is that tarry? 30, 45 days? Who knows? But we're definitely there, and I think the trials and tribulations that a lot of us have been facing, and we all have, and I've seen the change in personality of even people that I chat with. I've seen a little bit of disappointment and hurt, almost like they feel like they've been let down, and it's understandable. But we only feel that way based on our own wisdom. And remember, man's wisdom is stupidity before God. So we feel let down only because of our own inability to have worked this out. It's got nothing to do with God. It's going to go down. It's exactly how God said this is going to go down. There will be vindication for all of us. All those that laughed at us, and all the family members that wanted nothing to do with us, all the people that did horrible things to us, to put us in situations that are difficult on purpose, they'll get their comeuppance. And I mean, I don't say that in a way that I want revenge, because we're told that vengeance is God's, not ours. But there are verses in the Bible that says, when will the blood of our forefathers be revenged? So it will happen. They will get their comeuppance, and I hope that it doesn't happen. I hope they all get saved, all these people that have done dodgy stuff to us. But if they don't, they've chosen their own path, and all we're trying to do is warn our love, because it's a thankless job. And it's an emotional roller coaster ride. It truly is. But I think a lot of the testing, a lot of our trials have been the separation of the wheat and the tares, and have been to bring us out of her, the world. So I'm now almost, I'm almost free of the world in a way. I don't have a house anymore, the animals to feed other than my dog. Have I come out of her? I feel like I have. It was kind of forced on me, but was that part of my refinement? My battling to not allow it to happen, to finally get to this point where I'm sort of separate from the world to some degree. Has that been part of my coming out of her in preparation for what's about to happen. It's all speculation. I do not know. But I still think we're going to go home this year. But there's that word, think. I can't say we are, and nobody can, because the very best of us, the smartest of us, the best channels, the biggest channels, we've all passed our dates. And the only thing that comes to mind now when I come back, having seen the disappointment and having seen lots of channels suddenly not making videos because obviously they don't have any sort of thing that they think that they can currently add. The thing that I noticed then is we truly could be in that tarry right now, and I'd suggest not to go back into her just yet. In fact, I'd suggest never to. But, you know, situationally, things are different for everybody. So some of us have had to. For me right now, I don't know. I think God's put me in a spot where he just wants me to sit for a bit. I can maintain life fairly cheap at the moment, cost-wise, so I can exist fairly Spartanly, if that's a word, Spartanly. Cup of tea. So I'm hoping the reception's been okay. It's been a test for Starlink as much as anything else. And to let everybody know, I didn't just go offline because, oops, the dates have passed, I'm going to go hide under a rock. I was actually, look, I can't even begin to tell you the storm that I've just recently been through, and it's still not over yet. So I was offline for very valid reasons, not having, you know, internet or phone service. But I'm back. I've sorted all that. And it does seem that regardless of what I turn my hand to at the moment, it fails dismally. Even the most simple things, like I try and get something posted to on mobile, so I've had to use the local takeaway shop. Bloke said I could use the address there. He says he does it all the time because it's caravan park area. Lets people use his address for postal. Of course, my parcel gets delayed. And he says, gee, that never happens. There's really good mail service down here. Before I moved out of the house, I was on my house. I did the same thing. I was trying to gear up for this potential off-grid situation. So I was getting things sent to my house, and there would be months delays. Things would be lost in the mail. And it's just like every single thing I turned my hand to failed or was just a nightmare of drama. And I know everybody else is going through exactly the same thing. Are we all being tested, tried, refined, such that we come out of her? So what I'm saying is, don't necessarily resist the process if it's happening to you. Don't necessarily try and change it. Just look at it, evaluate it, try and step back from the situation a little bit. Or, I mean, I can give this advice now with hindsight, but I failed every test that I went through basically in the last month or so, you know. Temper tantrum tests, I failed a lot. But now on the other side of it, I realise, and I've got to thank Sister DJ for keeping the channel going, thanks. She said something to me the other day, some sayings from people in her life. And one of them simply was 95% or 99% of the things we worry about never ever happen. So whilst I worried and reacted badly and tried to control a lot of things, the outcome didn't change, and I'm not dead. I'm actually kind of getting used to this unusual, sudden, dramatic change in life. And DJ said to me on the phone this morning, are you hearing from the Holy Spirit? And I said, not at all. I'm praying. I'm hearing nothing. I just hear nothing. And she said, you sure you're not? Maybe you're getting the promptings. You're just not interpreting them or understanding them. And I don't know. Maybe that's what's going on here. God's got me in this situation. I'm slowly getting used to it. I could see myself being mobile at being able to move from one campsite to the next, plant a seed, move on, plant a seed, but not become part of the world again, so to speak. Almost, I don't know, like a traveling salesman. I can just sort of go here and then somewhere else. So I think what we need to do right now, we definitively know we're in a tarry, and things are hard, but look at what's hard and why it could be hard, what God might be wanting you to do. You know what I mean? But in the midst of turmoil, it's often difficult to find your path forward. But I'm not 100% certain. I don't know, God necessarily wants us to have a path forward right now. I think it's coming up for Christmas. It's a holiday season anyway. I'd recommend everybody just do what they're doing with their family. Share the love and enjoy the time that we're in right now, this holiday season. Understand that it's not about Santa Claus and presents and secular stuff. It's about the conception of Jesus, and look at it from a Christian point of view, not a secular, worldly point of view. But enjoy this time, but don't think too far forward. Just wait on the Lord and listen for the prompting of the Holy Spirit, because I truly believe we are about to go home, but I can't give you answers as to why we haven't gone already, what the tarry is, why it's occurred, how long it's going to go for, whether it's part of worldly deception and we just think there's a tarry. In other words, Satan, through worldly deception, brought us to a pinnacle, a terminus point where we thought it has to happen now, but in reality that was all scripted and you know, something the world made happen to throw us off track, when in reality, behind the scenes, it's still been progressing to the same end point, but slower than we thought, like a boy who cried wolf situation. Satan's last ditch attempt to make the road of those that already believe more rocky, or to prevent those that are on the fence and haven't made a decision for Jesus yet from doing so, by looking at our inherent failures as far as being able to interpret the timeline. But we know we have some rock solid markers. We know the signs. We're told what they'll be. They're in all the Gospels, mentioned very specifically in Matthew. We know the wars and reports of wars and all those sorts of things. There's mentions of it in many of the books. And we also know the timeline, because the rebirth of Israel gave us something that was rock solid. The rebirth of Israel was as rock solid as the crucifixion, and is as rock solid as the Bible itself. It's something that we can 100% stand on, because it's backed up and verified 100% by Scripture. From the rebirth of Israel, when we see all these things happen, right? How can a nation be born in a moment, be brought forth in a moment, or whatever the verse is? And we know that happened. The Bible even said, watch for it, because how can a nation possibly be born in a moment? And when that verse was written, Israel wasn't there anymore. And yet, in the future, 1948, way in the future, Israel suddenly became a nation again. It's never happened to any other ethnic group in history, that they've been thrown out of their own country like 3 times and came back, maintained their identity and their culture, and dispersed worldwide, and then all came back. It's never happened. It's a definitive, rock solid marker, as solid as we can confess with our mouth and believe in our heart Jesus is Lord and know that we're saved. The rebirth of Israel is a solid marker for us. So let us not be dismayed by the fact that we're still here. We're told that there's going to be a tarry. And a tarry can only happen when we're past the due date, when we should have arrived, when we think we should have had something done, when we're not on schedule, when it's clearly the tarry can't occur until after we think we should have gone. And for me, that was December 5th, was the last date possible by math. And 1260 days and 80 years for the midpoint of the tribulation for Israel. So we're in a tarry. I don't think it's going to be much longer. December 25th is as good a date as any for me. And that's simply just by looking at Mike's timeline and the conception of Jesus. So on the very day, essentially, that our salvation began, is that the very day that the dispensation of grace finishes, is basically what I'm saying. I don't know. But we've got to keep watching, stay encouraged, do what we've been doing. Share videos, share the gospel. Get people saved, plant seeds, because we are going to go soon. And when we're in heaven, we'll look back, and even if this tarries for 12 months, and I'm not saying it will be, and I don't believe it will be, but, excuse me, we'll look back, and it'll be like the blink of an eye. It will mean nothing. You know how you can worry about something for a year, and then it happens, and the moment it's finished and over and done with, you look back and you realise, why did I worry for that whole year? It says in the Bible that who are we to say what we'll do, in our lives, what we'll go here or whether we'll go there. It says our life's like a vapour, here 1 minute and gone the next. That's our entire life. God equates our entire life like a poof, vapour. And that's exactly what our entire life will be like to us with glorified bodies in heaven. We'll look back on our life and it'll be like that. So this tarry that we're in now will be like blink of an eye. So while it's hard now, though it tarry, wait for it it won't tarry, it will surely happen. So while it's hard now, because we're in the tarry, we've just got to keep our eyes focused on Jesus and know that any second we're going to go home and none of it will matter anymore. Our tears will be dried up. We'll have glorified bodies. We'll never be able to sin again. The curse will be reversed. Death, where is your sting? Only made possible through the perfect sinless life of Jesus and his works, none of our own. We are told that there comes a time where Jesus is going to say, "Depart from me, you workers of iniquity, I never knew you." The key word there is workers of iniquity. If you think any of your works, your good works, are actually good, then you've deluded yourself, because it says man's righteousness is but filthy rags before the Lord. So even our good works are filthy. So if you're going to rely on your works, your good works, Jesus, God will see them as filthy rags, and you will be a worker of iniquity, because you've presented your own works as being sufficient to get you into heaven, when you've been told your own works are but filthy rags. So you've become a worker of iniquity by relying on your own works. You understand what I mean? The only way to Jesus, the only way to God, the only way to salvation, the only way to the Father is through the Son. We can only get there by throwing off all of our works and understanding that it's not about what we've done right, about what we've done wrong. It's not about anything to do with us other than the confession that we make with our mouth that Jesus is Lord and God, and the heartfelt belief that he was raised from the dead on the third day, defeating death, sin, and the grave. That's it. That's all, as Aaron says, as Mike says, as a lot of us say now. That's it, that's all. You better get that into your head. It's only his perfect works that save you. I'm not saying don't do good works as you see good works to be. They'll be different for everybody and situational and dependent on, a lot of things. But they're not going to get you into heaven. We're saved under good works, so we want to glorify Jesus and we want to do good works, but they're not going to get us into heaven. They're still, even our good works is going to be looked upon as filthy rags. Man, my eyes look funny with these glasses on those. Anyway, that's all I've got to say. I'm back. I haven't been able to look at anybody's videos, nothing, apart from just a very quick skim through today to see that the signs are continuing to increase, but on a sort of 2 forward, 1 back, 1 forward, 2 back type basis, which suggests to me that it's scripted to some degree to deceive us. Hence, we think we should have gone, but we're in a tarry. But that tarry is also, validified by the fact that I believe we should have been gone by December 5th, or the tribulation should have started then at the latest. So stay encouraged. Let's look towards Christmas. I'd say definitely do not go back into her. Don't fall back into the world if you've been put in a situation where you've come out of it. I don't want to give people the wrong advice either, because, we can't be just sitting around doing nothing and going nowhere. But I'd say for now, with the signs, the maths, etc., I'd say we're so close. Just sit on things for a little bit. I'm certainly not making any decisions as to what I'm going to do. My only plans at the moment are to continue to do what I'm doing, try and share the gospel with the people that are around me, and probably not stay a real long time in the one location, maybe move about. Now, over Christmas, Tasmania is completely booked out. Basically, you can't get a spot anywhere for caravans, motorhomes, even all the free sites in the bush, all the parks and wildlife, government-owned land sites. You can't get a caravan on there. It's bumper to bumper. People love this state in the summertime at Christmas. So over Christmas, I'm going to try and base myself permanently where I am now, although there's 10 days where I have to leave here because it was fully booked before I was able to get my booking in. So I've got to just go on the road off-grid for 10 days. And I come back here and I get juggled around sites a little bit until I finally get one that's more permanent. I'll probably stay there maybe till March, until the silly season's over and the school holidays are finished, and then when I've got time to be able to do a day trip to go and have a look at an alternate site, leave my caravan here, take my dog with me, have a look at the alternate site, then I might start moving around, but I'll be selective as to where I go for facilities and all that sort of stuff. It's handy to have showers and laundry and all that sort of stuff. Don't have to use what I've got in the caravan. And then I'll sort of maybe move around a little bit and try and do some ministry work at different locations, but it's all up in the air for now. I've talked to DJ about this a lot, and we both think, like, we both got some plans behind the scenes, and we both keep saying to each other, but this is what we're going to do, but will we be able to, because we're going to be raptured next month anyway. And then next month comes along. So it's kind of a weird situation for a lot of us, because you don't know how many steps to start taking forward, or how hard and fast to throw yourself into something, because are we going to actually see the task through, if you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be building a new home and doing crazy things like that right now. But that, it could change. It's just such a strange time. I don't think we've ever faced anything like it. And obviously, for a lot of people, the wake up was what happened in 2020 odd with COVID, because that was the first time that anything has been worldwide forced and coordinated. Now, like, there are no ties whatsoever between North Korea and America or Tasmania, yet for some reason North Korea was pushing the same thing that America was pushing, that Tasmania was pushing, that everywhere else in the world was pushing. So that was definitively a wake-up call, because that fell into some Revelation type, how can I say it? I mean, we're told in Revelation that there's going to be, a lot of people killed through pestilence and stuff. So it opened my eyes to the possibility of that beginning, or for that to be the waters being tested, if you know what I mean. Compliance, the waters of compliance for varying things were tested during that period of time. But they were tested on the entire world, and that's never, ever, ever, ever in history happened. Ever. Not in ancient history, biblical history that you can read. There was never a time when every single kingdom, domain, area of the world suddenly was tested in the same way. So, and prior to that, of course, it was the Revelation 12 sign in 2017. So we're definitely there. We're nearly home. Stay encouraged. We're in a tarry. What can I say? The best of us have missed this. I don't think we're going to nail it via a timeline or anything like that, other than to say it's very, very soon. Any day could be it. Christmas Day with Brother Dana and Mike and other people, the things that they sort of see associated with that day is as good a day as any. If we make 2025, I'll be surprised. But if we do, I'll also be vigilant and try and work out why. We will have to start looking at some of those alternate maths. We'll have to humbly consider things like Brother Aaron and Feast of New Wine, etc., 2025, that so many of us poo-pooed. This isn't about winning a race. This is about warning and just getting there, you know what I mean? So we've got to be open to other ideas that are biblical. We've got to still stay biblical. I don't like to get too far into extra biblical stuff. I know there's probably there's probably a time for it, but I don't know if it's now. How can I explain this? There's probably a place for it, but I don't think it's going to give us rapture insight necessarily, because like we've got the canon, we were told not to include certain scriptures for a reason. Could that reason be that we are meant to now include them? I mean, could I be totally wrong? I don't know. Looking at it in the other direction, we are it says seal up the pages of this prophecy. Is that because we were now meant to have a look at those extra biblical books? I don't know, but they're not my field of expertise, so I tend not to try and even consider them too much. I just stick with the Bible. What I can see there, there's a pretty clear day count, some pretty clear numbers there, 1260, 1290, 1335, rebirth of Israel. We've got some firm, solid dates. We've got the signs. We see we're nearly home. Stay strong. Have a great Christmas. I'll try and do another video before then. I'm at a beach location now, which is very interesting for a lot of reasons, but I'll try and do a video of maybe a beachy walk or something next time I take my dog down for a walk, and I'll do a little bit of research too and start having a look at what some of the other channels have been saying and see if any of that lines up with some of the thoughts that I've got about a tarry period, when it could have started, how long it could be. But I'll keep you posted best I can. As usual, like, share, subscribe, and the goal of this channel is always to just promote the fact that there is heaven and there is hell, and we are going to one of two locations. As we are fallen, then our default location is hell. We need to make an actual choice, a free will choice, which God saw outside of time and therefore predestined us, but we still need to make it inside of time. So for us, it's a choice. For God, it's predestination. Haven't already seen it before we made the choice. But we need to drink of that cup when Jesus knocks on the door. We need to open it. There are plenty of typologies of the fact that there are verbs involved, doing words, actions. So we need to confess with our mouth Jesus is Lord, believe in our heart God raised him from the dead on the third day, defeating death, sin, and the grave, because he lived a perfect life. He was the Son of God. He didn't sin once. He was tempted in all things and was sinless. All things. That's everything. You know, that encompasses the whole kit and caboodle that we've all encountered, drugs, the whole deal. Somehow Jesus was tempted in all areas, yet was sinless. And then he willingly allowed himself, being the Son of God who could have commanded legions of angels, he willingly allowed himself to be sacrificed on a cross next to two thieves, right? And he pardoned one at the very last minute because of his belief, his free will decision to believe that he was the Son of God. And he was in paradise with Jesus, just like Mike said. We still need to make that choice, and then we all become brothers and sisters, and one day all the nastiness in life, all our sin, all the horrible stuff falls away from us. The curse is reversed. We're put back how God intended us to be, not to be able to sin, to live in perfect harmony with our Creator, to worship him and to love him and to be loved by him, to have a proper relationship with each other as well as our Creator. This is all we're trying to do, and to spare people from the lake of fire, from the tribulation and the hell that's about to come on earth. This is all we're trying to do. And to do that, we need to shed everything that we think is good about ourselves and clothe ourselves only in the righteousness and the goodness of Jesus. That's it. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. I'll keep you all updated best I can. Try and get out some videos. I'm liking this Starlink. It actually works pretty good. Yeah, it's really pretty cool. Pretty fast. Doesn't seem to be interrupted. Works better than the broadband that I had, which was, our sort of national broadband previous that I had wired to the house. So anyway, that's all I've got. I'm back. I encourage everybody to like, share, subscribe this video and other videos that I've mentioned. Have a look at go and have a look at Mike. He mentioned a few new channels. Rapture Reese I already knew. I think he's commented on some of our videos before. Lots of people still coming up with ideas, but for me, the idea train stopped on December 5th, which put us into a tarry of possibly 30 to 45 days. And past that, I'm watching the signs and I'm watching Israel as much as anything else, and keeping an open mind to things like Brother Aaron's research and Dr. Barry's on feasting new wine, etc. So God bless everybody. Stay strong. Have a good Christmas. I'll probably talk to you before then. Maybe make a video. I'm not 100% certain. As I have to leave my location where I am now. I'm here till the 25th. I have to leave by 11 a.m. in the morning on the 26th. So Boxing Day. So I've got Christmas Day here. Then I don't know where for 10 days. So how that'll impact my ability to research, do videos, etc. I'm not sure, because I don't even know where I'm going to get running water from during that period of time for the van, and it's not like I can tow around a 26-foot caravan and just park it on a residential street somewhere and start living life. I just can't do that. So we'll see where it all goes. But God bless everybody. Stay strong. Keep looking up. We're getting closer. Things are just so crazy. We've got all the Damascus news, the drones. Nothing has changed. Certainly nothing has gone less quiet. It just hasn't progressed quite as quick as I thought. But it's still progressing towards the terminus that we all know is going to happen. And that's the pre-tribulation rapture of the church before a 7-year period or 1,260-day periods of hell on earth. Hell on earth. And if people don't make the decision during that period of time, then they're destined for the lake of fire. That's it. So don't be a tribulation saint. Miss all of that. Just get right with God right now. Go in the rapture. The dead in Christ arise first. Those of us who are alive and remain will be caught up with them. That's it. That's all. Be part of that group. God bless everybody. Thanks for joining, and I'll keep you posted because I'm on the road and I feel like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I feel like a John Wayne in the Wild West, just traveling around, not quite sure where I'm going to go or what I'm going to do. But for now, that seems to be where God's led me through a trial and tribulation period, and I take DJ's advice and kind of try and hear the Holy Spirit and all this and see where he's directing me. And I suggest everybody else does the same best they can. Occupy the day, but don't look too far ahead. So take care, family. I'll talk to you all again soon. God bless.